Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me in today's session. My name is Hameed Asghar, and on behalf of Institute of Freelancing on Facebook as well as on YouTube, with 72,000 followers, I welcome you all. In our last sequence of the lecture, we created a logo, do it yourself in 5 minutes in Microsoft PowerPoint. And this is something we have created, keeping that in mind that the basic shape is the square we used for the logo types. And we created this is the type of logo in Microsoft PowerPoint in just 5 minutes time. And today, in the second episode of this lecture, we are going to create the same logo in Adobe Photoshop. And in the third sequence of the lecture, we will do the same in Adobe Illustrator so that you should have an idea if a basic type of logo you want to create in Microsoft PowerPoint, Adobe Photoshop, and Adobe Illustrator, how can you create, how can you become more creative logo designer, and you can after creating these kind of creative works as in logos, you can post your artwork on freelancing websites, and from there you can earn the money. So let's proceed on Photoshop screen. So let me show you that how can you very easily create the same type of logo in Adobe Photoshop. Here we are in Adobe Photoshop. Before we start, or let's try to create a new document from file to clicking upon new. The very first and foremost thing which you have to remember is the resolution. That has to be 300 because at the end of the day, your creative output, your creative work that might get printed. So for the printing purpose, this is must and mandatory that it has to be minimum resolution of 300 to get it professional printed. So as soon as you do this, whatever the height and width you are interested in, let's do this and let's create a new document. Here we have already created. Now in Adobe Photoshop, let me tell you, there are multiple ways of creating a square or whatever the creative work you think. Multiple ways, whatever that's best suits you, whatever that you can remember, that is something that you have to do. But in today's lecture, I'll give you two options from which you can very easily create a square. First and foremost, let me create a new layer. That's the mandatory thing. And then with the help of a rectangle marquee tool, you can create a square, right? And you can fill on any type of color into this. And as we have created, that's the type of color we picked up earlier. And as we have created a new layer, we have selected the color. Now let me pick up the paint bucket tool and paste the color inside this selected area. Now the selection that has done its work. So let me deselect from the top select menu to clicking on deselect the area, right? With the move tool, now you can see we have created the first shape, and now we have to put in the text that might be A to Z, that might be A to multiple words, single character, or whatever that's you are interested in. So as we are referring back to our previous lecture, so we are going to create uh, the, the word F. So let me pick up the colors first. Let me swap this color white on top. Let me click on text tool and click on F. So here is the first, that is something which we have to create. So while selecting with the mouse, here is the first option. From here, you can change the size to whatever you are interested in. Let's suppose we are interested in 150, and we move this with the help of move tool to the center of our square. So the other way could be that manually, if you want to transform this, let me go to edit and free transform. It allows you to change the size to any level. So let me click, and that's the place we are interested in. And let me select tick mark OK or commit transform. these are the changes. So that is something, the first which you have to do. So what we can do right now is let's have a copy of this, either separately or let with the help of Shift key select both, and Control plus J have will allow us to have another copy. And let me bring that copy to here. So this, now we are going to make a change in the text, and that is this: right click and blending options. With the blending options, here is the drop shadow. That's we are interested in the first attempt. We want to have a second copy of this. Simply, you can make any type of change you are interested in. For example, the shadow angle, that, or the distance, or the spread, or the size of the logo, whatever the things you are concerned, you are interested in, you can do it. For example, I'm interested in 5 and 5. That's the settings. Distance is 5 and size is 5. Let me press OK. That's the second option. Now we are done with. So with the help of this, with the help of Shift key, select both and Control plus J. Let me have another copy, and now we are going to change the, now we are going to have the third version of our logo. In this instance, instead of changing anything into the text, we are interested in changing the box color. So let me Control plus click on this arrow will allow us again to select the box or the square in which we are interested in, that we want to transform this color into a gradient color. So let me select the gradient first, and instead of paint bucket tool, here is the gradient color. So we want to, instead of this color, we want to edit the colors. So let me click on this, and that will allow me to edit the colors. So let me select this, and from clicking upon this, let me first select this and have a darkish tone of the color we are interested in. So that would be a kind of color. If you think that's not appropriate, let me go and have a little bit more darkish tone, from lightish to, that's the darkish tone. Let me select OK, and with the simple gradient, simply line color, that will allow me to post any type of fill color into the same box. So the selection has again made it, we are done with the selection tool. And let me select from deselect, here is the third variation, third variant of the same logo now we have created. So that is the first way of creating a logo with a simple rectangle marquee tool. Now let me off all the layers. Let me have a new layer first. And with the help of these custom shapes, the rectangle tool, you can do this also. So let me select this. Instead of, that's the tool, and that's the properties of this panel. Instead of gradient, let me pick up the base color, and that might be this one. And that's the first thing which you have to do. Then, of course, again, you can make copy of this. You can make the text visible again, maybe somewhere here. And that's the kind of text that can be available on this also. Sorry, let me pick up the text and let me bring it here. So the same thing can be, you can also do this with this rectangle tool. So with these type of variations, with these type of options, you can very easily create any type of logo that is as per your choice. And then you can, from the file menu, you can save for the web, and that will allow you to save this separately, these all logos separately, and you can post this as your portfolios onto Upwork.com or onto Fiverr as a gig, and you can convince your client that this is something which you can do within 5 minutes time, and I'm pretty sure you can get the projects from the freelancing websites. So thank you very much, dear students, for joining me in today's second episode of this logo creation with a square. And in the next episode, we are going to do the same thing in Adobe Illustrator. So let's tune up for the next lesson. And thank you very much for joining me in today's session. Hope to speak to you soon again. And after then, take care and bye bye.